Okay guys, I think I am on. So today's gonna be a quick live stream. I'm sure you're gonna join in later on. Let me kind of see the chat real quick so I could respond if I have to. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody have a great year. Okay, 1 second. There we go. You just heard me saying that. So I hope you have a great year so far. Of course, Happy New Year still. This is the second day of the year. Watch Moran's live stream. That was great. Always good to have him, to have him go live and all that stuff, just, hey, it's like a beacon of hope type thing, right? Shout out to Moran's. But, yeah, so today was a pretty good trading day. 5% down for some reason, right? Well, I think it's because of news that is coming here, and of course it's to be expected, right? There's a lot of enthusiastic movement here that is not warranted because of this, right? Of course, I bet you anything the traders are looking at this all-time high here, price point right here for the S&P 500, and everybody is is scared or trying to sell ahead of this line, perhaps, right? And on top of that, you have what's called a reversal, right? Divergent right here. Oops, let me try a different way here. So what does it mean? It means that price is going higher here, right? But if you were to look at the RSI, it's down. Of course, I bet you anything, every amateur trader, or even professional one at that, they look at that, and then it's a fulfilling prophecy here, right? That's not to say that it won't gap up tomorrow and continue to go up here in order to fake a few people out who are thinking short term, right? But I think the collapse is coming. It's not a doom and gloom thing. It's just to prepare you ahead of time what's to come, right? At the very least, this gap right here might be filled. Please don't make any trade based on this. I'm just nobody who doesn't have any experience in at least enough experience to tell you what to do here. So again, everything that I've learned is from YouTube, watching various technical analysis people that do a lot of these things here, and then also too watching a lot of people like this and CNBC to try to get my info. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of a bit low energy today, but a long day today for some reason. Hey Lionel, what's up? Hope you're doing well today. Yeah, a few people just joined. But yeah, I'm not gonna stay too long today. Maybe a couple, maybe half an hour or 45 minutes or so. But mainly just to kind of update on the price action and what's going on in the S&P 500 and what I think is going to happen next, right? And also to the title of the show, of the live stream, is actually related to Bitcoin, but I'll let you know in a minute what I mean by that one. So this is the S&P 500. So today was kind of like a indecision kind of day, right? If you look at, but hold on, let me see. I think, man, if I do a 1 day candle here, so a doji maybe, right? So when that happens, usually, the market doesn't know what to do, right? And that could be a bear trap too, right? They think that, tomorrow is going to continue to go higher. When they place the trade to short the market, what happens? It goes right back up, right? Again, if you're just trading this market using calls and puts and all that stuff, this is how you could blow up your account, like losing a lot of money, right? Because you're not really owning any asset. And so if calls and puts, yes, you could make a lot of money if you're right on the direct direction, but you have to be right, like, substantially. It's like my point is that sometimes, because of the option, the volatility of the option is so high, you might end up paying higher price for those contract, right? And so even if you are right on the direction, for example, if you buy calls at a very high price, high volatility, the stock market has to go up substantially in order for you to make money. And even if it goes up a little bit, you are right on the direction of the market though, buying calls, right? If it goes up, you're still losing that money because it's not going up fast enough for you to benefit from that call. Unless you know how to, do an in the money call option, but even then it's still very, very risky, or in the money put option, right? Because I guess if you know when the market is going to drop, you could make substantially amount of money. Like, unless you have insider information about a certain company, which we all know, like Congress people do have those. I think recently, a couple weeks ago, maybe, Nancy Pelosi bought a whole bunch of call option in NVIDIA, right? So, this type of thing happens all the time, and nobody's gonna do anything, right? And it's not just Democrats. It used to be more Republicans than the Democrats, right? That does stuff like this, but Nancy Pelosi is the number 2, stock picker. Well, her husband, okay, let me do the correction. Her husband is the one that picked the stock. Yeah, but anyway, good. All right, so, but anyway, let me go back to the news here. I think Apple was downgraded. Hold on, I think I have Apple. Yeah, the company Apple was downgraded by a certain, I think Barclay or something. And so the stock today went down by so much, right? So again, these company were overvalued for a long time, and they always say, stuff like, oh, Apple's gonna be forever and all that stuff, right? When you are overextended to the point where you have trillions of dollars in a market cap, like, you're bound to do this thing. And when you do, it's like, what, 17% a day or something like that? Something ridiculous. Oh, what did I saw 17%? I misinformation over here, I'm sorry. So it looks like it went down pre-market, and I'm sure there's a continuation coming down too, because if you look at this one, again, I'm not an expert on technical analysis here, but if you look at the top here, the M upside down W over here, you might see kind of like that. Then you have this. That's usually indication of downtrend, right? Like that. But it might just be a valuation a valuation base drop right here because of the downgrade from Barclay. I think So if you look it up here, Apple, why is it 2009? I don't know why. Downgrade, downgrade. Okay, so it fell 4%. I don't know why I got 16% from. It's probably some other stock. So Barclay downgraded to what? Oh man, every time you guys, I click on CNBC and I'm like regretting it instantly. All right, so let me play this one real quick.
It's now an underweight at that firm. It is the focus of today's Tech Check with Steve Kovac. Steve.
Hey there, David. Yeah, Apple starting the new year with that downgrade from Barclays. Not a good start. Shares falling about 3% or so, and Barclays really laying out the headwinds it's going to expect that's going to result in a tough March quarter. So here's the case they lay out in the note today, calling the iPhone 15 sales, quote, lackluster, especially in China. We know all the problems going on there, and says that weakness will continue with the launch of the next iPhone, likely this fall. And a UBS note also backing that up with November iPhone sales data, basically showing the same thing, a lot of weakness in the U.S. and China. Also saying no rebound in Mac and iPad demand post-pandemic. It needs to fall back to those pre-COVID levels before there's a recovery. And then on services, we've seen growth accelerate in the last quarter or so, likely going to be up 10% year on year for the December quarter. But that's because comps are a lot easier from a year ago. And Barclays expecting deceleration in growth in services throughout 2024 and even into 2025. Now, some reasons behind that: regulatory risks. DOJ is going to have a verdict pretty soon here against Google, and that puts the payments it makes to Apple at risk. We all know, of course, Apple pays billions, maybe as much as $19 billion a year, to be the default search engine on Apple devices. Plus, there's the Digital Markets Act going into full effect over in Europe, and that is a threat to App Store revenue. That said, Barclays expecting December quarter to be in line with expectations. Still, though, Apple's guidance for that quarter said sales going to be flat year over year after 4 quarters in a row of declining sales. And as for that March quarter, the quarter and now, Barclays now estimating below the consensus, hence the new price target, $160, or about 14% or so downside from shares are now, guys. Barclays.
Okay, so Apple, even the behemoth, is struggling with sales. Sales going to be flat, right? Ridiculous. But anyway, nobody making a big deal out of that, saying Apple is going bankrupt, no, right? Be ridiculous, right? Be ridiculous. Hi everyone, just joining in. Welcome to the most boring show in the world. No, sorry you guys, I'm kind of like low energy today, so I apologize for that. But anyway, so I was like originally was gonna talk about Bitcoin. Of course, like I see a lot of narrative coming over now. You know, the Bitcoin ETF is coming. That's why you saw that 6% price. I think yesterday it was today. Man. But anyway, it was today, you know, the 6% up because they were like, oh, ETF is going to be approved. No. I mean, even if it's going to be approved, it's not going to be immediately that they're going to start buying Bitcoin immediately. You know, there's paper process, setting up wallet and all that stuff in order to set up the trading desk in order to, you know, provide those service to, you know, something as big as an ETF. ETFs is a lot of money, right, involved in that. And so they have to buy in block, and they need to make sure that they have the infrastructure to do that first before they even, you know, even follow up with the approval, right? The approval is just the first step. And so, of course, they're pumping it up. And in my opinion, the reason why they pump it up is because they've been accumulating it already. And I think they're ready to dump it back down. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going under whatever, right? But if you watch my channel before, you've heard my prediction before. Again, this is like, I think it's mathematical at this point. I feel like, you know, because there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin. I'm not saying that it's going to follow this to the T. However, there's going to kind of follow similar sentiment from here. Again, this is the peak, right? This is the second peak, and that's what we are right now, where we are right now. And so they're going to try to kind of consolidate here. So pump up, get the masses excited about Bitcoin, buying it. Oh, it's going to $100,000. Buy now, you won't be able to buy it, you know. So FOMO in. and then they're gonna, distribute it back to you, right? Whoever kind of sell out over here is gonna take some loss, and they might not even want to come back to Bitcoin because, again, psychological. Price is psychological. If you understand that, you will be accumulating around here. Like, you would wait, don't buy now, but don't panic sell either if you're at a loss. Again, not a financial advisor here, but just the technique that I use, when I was in this cycle right here. So we are close to that, but once it's down around $30,000, $30,000 to $25,000, that's the accumulation point, right? That's where you want to wait until it drops to that point to buy really low, or just do dollar cost averaging, and just don't care about what price you're buying at. Just stash in, $1 at a time, if that's what you want to do. And if you keep buying consistently, really, over time, those price point that you're going to hit when it goes up, it's going to kind of produce that long-term effect of gain, the value that you would get from that. Of course, you have to believe in the whole network, right? And know what the network is doing and all that stuff, and buying it in the correct platform, because again, if you don't know how to use blockchain, it's pretty kind of nerdy for people who highly technical though, but it's doable. I don't think it's something that you should be scared of. It's need to be learned, that's for sure. But yeah, just my thought. And then, like I said, I think 26, that's when the next bull run would be. But guess what? This network, which is my favorite network, they're saying it's the new bull run for Bitcoin. So that's why it's kind of like put a red flag. And you see YouTuber like this kind of pumping it up, saying it's going to go, $100,000 and all that stuff. Right here, Bitcoin already been up like this already, but they don't show you the previous cycle of Bitcoin, right? They only show you the intraday, Again, this is what they're notorious of doing. They are only focusing on the immediate price action, and that's what they want you to do. If that's what they want you to do, to lose money, then all you have to do is just zoom back. Like, when in doubt, zoom out. Don't look at the time frame that they want you to see. See it within the whole context of the thing. So this is like a daily candle, right? And even if you want to even predict more, you would go weekly candle. So that you could see this context here, and if you look at the previous cycle up here, down here, it's the same thing. You have this period of enthusiasm, and then down, and then up a little bit, and then down, right? Now each, I guess, bull run has different characteristic, but it has that, pump, dump, kind of trade a little sideways here and there. But if you just zoom in here, think about it right here. Like, if you zoom in here, just seeing one day at a time. Let's say they want you to buy up here, and then you panic and you sell down here, right? Because from here to here, it may not seem steep to you, but that's 30% down right there. This is 40% down at the wig, right? So if you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin up here, you're going to have left $60 down here, right? And if you panic, now in the context of $100, you might not be freaking out. But what if let's say you bought a whole Bitcoin here, $1,000. Well, it's not 1,000, but let's say it's $1,000 up here, and then you down $400 from this peak to the low of this wig, you know, you might be panicking. And that's what they want you to focus on, just a small price action. The same way with Jimmy, the same way, you know, and that's why they're like, this company is not going to make anything. Yeah, the same sentiment that they want you to feel. And all of it's just psychological, right? Because none of this price matter until Bitcoin become more mature as an asset class, right? Which I think it will be. But I think maybe 3 more cycle of this, and each cycle constitute about 4 to 5 years, right? If you measure from here to here, like from peak to peak right here. Sorry. From peak to peak, what is that? 1,428 days. What is that? So, I'll read the chat in a minute, you guys. I'm sorry. I feel like a zombie today. What's going on? Is it because of the second day of the year? Okay, divided by... So this is a week, so how many years? What? Wait, am I doing math wrong here? I think that's day. Okay, there you go. So it's around 4 years, right, worth of a cycle. And so again, you know, you could go back to measure that one. It's going to be around 4 years. But I think, you know, they could expand more now because, again, as the year goes by, you know, more and more people are going to be more kind of in tune to the price of Bitcoin eventually. And then I think it's going to become mature around, you know, 2030. 10 more years, I bet you anything, it's going to be like touted as the gold standard, right? Currently, it's a scam for now, right? Because they know it's valuable. So that's why they're trying to accumulate it, to bring more and more people in so that they, you know, like people like this used to be saying like, Bitcoin is just a magic money, you know. Magic internet money, it's nothing, you're just trading among fools, right? Now they're all like analyzing it and all that stuff. BS. They're not the true believer of the Bitcoin network whatsoever. They just want to control it. That's why they use, you know, the SEC, they use the CFTCs to you know, come. And I truly believe that, you know, the FTX debacle was a Trojan horse to regulate Bitcoin, to regulate crypto, right? To put a clamp on it at the very least, right? And so, all right, guys, joke's on you. I'm incapable of boredom. Thank you, I appreciate that. Hi, Jay. Hi, kiddo. Keep up the thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Appreciate it so much. Yes. You know, I was watching Moran's live show and it kind of, you know, encouraging me to go live today. Originally, I wasn't going to go live because I was so tired. Had a long day at work, and then, of course, like, we went out a little bit, co-workers, and had some, you know, just eat out close by working area and stuff like that, so it was kind of fun to do. But yeah, we talk a lot over there, and so had some fun, you know, kind of like residual New Year's celebration type thing. So nothing major. But also too, at work, there was more people I have to serve, more than I expected, so that's why it just feels like a zombie today. But again, all in all, it was a good day. But yeah, so I mean, what do you guys think about Bitcoin? Like all of a sudden you have these, news media coming over saying that they're, bullish on Bitcoin and all that stuff. All of a sudden, like, makes no sense to me. Well, it makes sense to me, but I bet you anything, the masses. I actually talked to my uncle. Oh, this is a story. I was talking to my uncle. I was like, because I got him in Bitcoin around here, and he bought in around here. I told him, like, don't buy everything, like, don't buy the whole thing. Just dollar cost average down, And if you believe in the network, of course, like I told him, like, do it incrementally. Don't do one go. And he did one go, obviously, just doesn't listen to me. Because, like, he's not involved in the stock market and all that stuff. He was just asking me what to buy into, and I just, of course, it was at the point where before Elon Musk kind of like tweet about how he was gonna dump a portion of his Bitcoin. Remember around that time it was Tesla who bought into Bitcoin, and then it was like, oh, it's gonna run up. It's like, I'm sure some of this run up was because of Tesla, decided to buy Bitcoin. Jay's probably noticed about this more than me. So I got my uncle in right here, and then I keep asking him, like, oh, how's Bitcoin going on? Like, and then I even told him, like, around here, I was like, look, you might want to kind of add a little bit more, and he didn't, of course. So well, I mean, I was down, but thank goodness though, he did not sell. I'm proud of him actually, like that. He did not sell. He'd been holding it since then, but he's still in the negative a little bit. I think he said he bought it around like 48,000 or something like that. I didn't look at his cost average, but he bought around that time, around that price point right there. And then recently I just asked him like a couple of days ago, before the New Year's, I was like, hey, well, how's your Bitcoin doing? And then he said, well, I still hold on to it, I was like, I feel like I should add more. I'm like, now you want to add more? It's like, well, I heard about, it's going up now. I'm like, that you're doing it wrong, okay? If you want to add, you should have added around 20,000 right here, And so it's just indicative of like somebody who's not experienced in the market. They're just at whims of their own emotion. So, and of course, like these news media, they know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly how people would feel if the price going down, and that's the panic that they want to cause in the market, whether it's the stock market or anything, like any kind of security that they have their hands on at the moment. So I think this is the segment here. Let's listen in. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit.
You've been long Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yep. So what about now?
Well, this one I trimmed also on Friday, a day too early. Look, I don't believe in Bitcoin. I still see no use case, no end market for it. It's just a speculative market, but that's fine. I'm just not a believer. If I were a believer in Bitcoin, I wouldn't have shaved it. So I basically cut it almost in half. And the reason I did was I think the news is priced in. So you get the approval for the ETF, and then maybe you sell in the news, because I'm not the only one that bought it in expectation of ETF approval. And that's been the move from 28,000, which is roughly where I bought it almost all of it under 30, to where it is now. Now, the other issue that I had with it is that what if it doesn't get approved?
Well, I was thinking that. What if it doesn't?
What if it doesn't get approved?
Surprise,
and then it's toast for a while, so it'll recover because they're just true believers driving. And the third thing is, you don't need an ETF. An ETF is great for multiple positions, but you can buy this, Bitcoin, now there'll be a crypto ETF, but as far as Bitcoin goes, it's very easy to buy. You can buy it with no commissions on Fidelity. You can buy it in Robinhood. You can buy it everywhere. So I don't know what an ETF does for Bitcoin itself.
Well, doesn't it theoretically open it up?
It does.
To a larger
because people
pool
are so
of
used to
investors?
buying ETFs at this point. There'll be more demand for it, without a doubt. But my point is that I just thought it was prudent for a non-believer to take a lot off the table and book the game.
To your point, the last big the last big approval, quote unquote, that everyone was waiting for was futures.
Yeah.
And that ended up being a negative catalyst. That actually was the top. In 2017, December of 2017, in Chicago, they started trading futures on Bitcoin. A lot of people in the lead up were saying, oh, this is so bullish. Actually, that enabled a new level of price discovery. They shorted it to hell, and it collapsed to 11,000. So just because we have this catalyst in front of us doesn't guarantee, oh, all of a sudden there's going to be this buying bonanza and there won't be sellers. There'll be plenty of people utilizing the ETFs to express bearish bets. I think those will be overwhelmed in the opening weeks.
Yep.
But I agree, a lot of this is priced in. And by the way, this ain't even going to be that great of a business.
No.
BlackRock and Fidelity will carve it up. It'll probably be 25 basis point business inside of 18 months. This is not going to be 1% ETF internal expense ratios as far as the eye can see. And there aren't going to be 10 winners. And the only evidence I have of that is 30 years of publicly traded ETFs. There are not 10 SPYs. There are not 10 oil ETFs. There are not 50 different versions of the gold ETF.
They're not 10
it's
Joe
one or
T's.
two.
But just in terms of full disclosure, I may sell the rest of it before that January 10 deadline. I just don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
One of the reasons why the futures failed the way they did is because the extreme volatility didn't marry itself with what the clearinghouses were going to do on margin requirements. So the margin requirements on Bitcoin futures were so extremely high, you had people that weren't able to utilize the futures market in a way in which they could leverage positions like they do with bonds or agriculture or oil. The clearinghouses really did a good job in managing the risk and the volatility and placing a strong barrier to entry using margin.
Weiss.
Okay, so sorry, I spoke too early without watching the whole segment. Actually, they were kind of presenting a bearish case there. I think in the context of like, oh, it's going up, you better get it too. So, when they want you to sell into something, they would present it a different way, right? It's not like, oh, it's gonna improve, but if it doesn't, whatever, right? So they always leave that, in my opinion anyway. But I mean, contrast that with how they cover GameStop, right? They never present any other case, like both case at all. And they always leave it up to, anytime they present this right here, the green candle, that psychologically make people want to buy, right? And that's why they show you the chart there. So again, yes, even though they're trying to present both sides of things, they still psychologically showing you graphics that looks good to the eyes, to the mental people who are just, searching for that run, right? When you look at GameStop coverage, they only show the loss, right? Only one-sided. So this is sell. You see that, like even on this one, 6 months ago.
Has no clue. Not
You
the
see
first
that?
clue. They are blockbusters.
Psychologically,
And,
it doesn't make people feel good about, the price of Bitcoin then, right? And it was $12. I mean, $20 right there. I'm still dreaming of the $12 price for GameStop, you guys. Like, I mean, that was a Freudian slip right there. But, look. $21, right? People, like, anytime they show this type of graphics, it's a visual cue for people to be, like, depressed about the price. And they do that very, very often for GameStop. Same here, right? You see, again, this is a visual trick. I'm sure, marketers know very well how to do this, and they know how to psychologically manipulate you when you see all this price ticker, right? Always showing at the red, right? And always zoom in on the time frame of like going from green to red, drop like a rock type of, graphics. I bet you anything, nobody has shown anything recently. If you look at the price currently, nobody showed this. Right? They don't show you the green graph going up to the right, no? I dare you to find anything like that on the news, especially these type of news. But anyway, just my observation here, you guys. If again, just off chance somebody's new who doesn't, care about GameStop or doesn't invest in GameStop, you might not be aware of this type of stuff. So You know, you might think that I'm conspiratory minded and all that stuff, you know, but, you know, watching Moran's, the newest one, the newest connected dot is confirming, you know, of course I have suspicion that that's happening already, you know, because all of those politicians are beholden to whoever give them the money, Obama, you know, the like. You know, if you look at who gave money to Obama, most of them, like it's the bankers, like people who stand to gain so much from the collapse of 2008. And in 2009, that's when he spent $2 trillion to bail them out. $2 trillion at the time was like unheard of, right? I know in today's money, it's just like different, right? It's like, oh, really? Only $2 trillion? We have $30 trillion in debt right now. So take that, right? So, I mean, the bubble is like real, you guys, and the corruption is real. And that's why corruption doesn't hurt, I mean, doesn't help anyone except the people that benefits. And even with the people that benefits from it, they only learn to, you know, stay connected to the people that give them money. What if, you know, they couldn't at some point? Then you're just relying on people giving you money to survive. Like, that's like, there's no life and liberty there whatsoever. And the accomplishment that you have is not your own, it's given by somebody. So that's not a good way to live your life, in my opinion, anyway. To me, I like to accomplish something on my own. You know, I don't want to be given thing. That's why I kind of hate these type of people. It's like, to me, if you have a platform to do good or evil, I would choose to do good, right? Because I'm a good person, I like to think. But then, you know, I just never understand why people choose to do so much evil, you know, in the world to cause what? What are you trying to accomplish? You think you're more powerful because of that? It's like, you know what, you want to shoot somebody in the Times Square and then touting, hey, I could shoot somebody without, you know, being reprimanded. It's like, and then being let go, like famous Trump, you know, quote there, right? But anyway, I could never understand that sentiment, honestly, because to me, real power comes in when you elevate some other people, you know, that will have the ability to beat you in the future. I think that's a true strength of a man or a woman, right? Is that, you know, if you reach that pinnacle, if you're lucky enough to have the minds, the sentiment, the stamina to reach the top, you want to build bridge so that people could go further than you know, because, you know, you might die one day. you might you're not immoral. At some point you're gonna end, and so better make sure at the very least while you're here on earth you build a bridge for the next generation to succeed. And we've had so many people in this country that has been leeching off of, you know, the wealth, the strength of America for a long time. I mean, the strength. I'm sure, like, off the backs of working class for so long. And it's time to end. And I think that's why I resonate with Ryan Cohen's way of coming into this company, you know, with his own money, making a statement, you know, and all that stuff. And yeah, it's like, it's my cup of tea type of thing. It's like, I want to see more of these type of CEO emerge from this, right? It's almost like a movement for CEOs to wake up, right? And to at least provide some effort into, you know, putting value to shareholder at the very least, and take consideration of their money, effort, the fact that they are buying into your stock means something, right? That they're not just a cash cows, like Adam Aaron think about the retail investor at large. And on top of that, he have the audacity to say that, he was the one who saved the company. It wasn't retail originally because we were able to raise money. I know, I'm sure you guys probably heard about that. So again, leader like that shouldn't be followed, but yet, time and again you have people promoting these type of people. And I'm sure the reason why I rant about this is because of the Bill Pulte, that BS people coming in and just like, what are you doing? It's like, really? Are those the type of people you want to associate with? Okay, all right. And I don't know, again, to me, Gamestop is this guy Ryan Cohen is pretty cool individual, and deserves so much more respect from the media and all that stuff. Of course, again, the reason why the media doesn't elevate him now is because he's not. You see how these type of promotional poster right there was because they were trying to promote Chewy at the time. Somebody that pays for, see, it's listed on NASDAQ. They want to promote it to the masses. That's the whole reason why. They, paint him in a good light, even though he deserved all of that back then and now as well. But then they make this documentary about the making of Meme King. What? Meme King? The only reason why he's successful in this company is because of memes. Are you kidding me? It's like, serious. So if that's the case, every CEO out there, just make memes. That's it. Just copy Ryan Cohen. It's ridiculous. Of course it's not why he's successful and in this company. It's demonstrated in the balance sheets, right? If you know how to do plus and minuses, you should be okay in analyzing this company yourself, right? You don't need a 12 years analyst like Brian Susie to tell you that this company is actually doing okay at the moment, right? At the very moment, they're doing okay, right? At the very least, they're losing only $8 million net income, right? But if you look at what's matter, well, at least like the sign of kind of like financial stability, not the net income. The net income is just, at least it's healthy a little bit. But an early signs of stability is free cash flow. See? And we were at least stable at that point. When cash flow positive hit, people should have been like, oh, okay, at least they're cash flow positive, right? And so, this stuff like this, this is why learning how to do it yourself is so valuable, because you don't have to rely on people to kind of give you that analysis, because you could learn to do it yourself, right? I know it can take some time to build the trust within yourself to analyze stuff like this, right? But the only person that you could trust is yourself, right? Yes, you are limited to what you know, but as long as you are diligent, in my opinion, and just consistently looking for the truth, don't try to be biased on any side, right? Stay in the middle, until you know for sure what to do, what to act, exactly what to do, then act. But until then, just stay still. Don't make any decision. Gather as much as information first, then make the decision. So that's what I learned, from investing standpoint over the year, investing in Bitcoin, all of that stuff kind of prepare me for this moment right here, right? This is very appreciative. Like, I appreciate the fact that, you know, I get to see what GME actually is, right? The real GME, like the people who are supporting it, you know, here for a reason, and not just the price action, right? So, and that's why I respect Morantz, you know, and I'm sure all of you who have watched him respect him because of that too. You know, he's very level-headed and an inspiration for a lot of people. So people like that, you know, need to be elevated and noticed at the very least. Be credited, you know, to be. So, and I'm not just saying that because, you know, I want him to promote me or anything like that. No. It comes straight from the heart. So, and yeah, it wouldn't matter to me if he doesn't promote me, you know. So, anyway, just to throw it out there, just in case people think like, oh, she's in love with him and stuff like that. Like, come on, you guys. Like, are you 5? It's like, shit. Sorry, you guys. I'm on my soapbox today for some reason. Well, there's nothing much new here. Let's move on with the show. You know, one of the day that I'm waiting on is the March, of course, the reporting of Gamestop. Right now, this is just an estimate, right? Like, it's not a set in stone date. So March 28 so far is a set date for, not set yet, but estimate date for the report. And I think this is going to be a good report because this is inflational based, right? And so hopefully we beat all the expectation and then just, you know, put the nail in the coffin. But even if we only make, I don't know, I would say $20 million, I would be, you know, again, even $1 million was still good, like, I guess, in a positive way. You know, SoFi has been on the news, right? What was the estimate? It was nowhere near what GameStop could do. I think SoFi has been on the news. Let's see. Right here. So the expectation for SoFi, look, 1 cent, not even. So that's the estimate. And again, this is a low ball for them. Like, this is why, again, okay, for those of you who haven't seen my other live stream, this is the trick that they do. And these analysts, obviously, I bet you anything, whoever analyzed this, you know, come up with this estimate, probably do a low ball estimate so that it's a very easy bar to cross, right? Very low bar to cross. You know, revenue, they only expect it to be 500 million. So how do I know this? Well, let's compare. Again, at this point, I'm just assuming. So this is May. What is this? February. So I want to do February. So this is January. Okay, so reported estimate 425 billion. Now it's 570. I wonder how they come up with that number, you know, based on sales, based on what? Minus 425. 425. Okay. So how many percentage is that? 30%. So my theories is out of the window, you guys. They might be right about SoFi. That's my conclusion. Oh man, I'm in trouble, you guys. I don't know what is happening to me right now. I think it's like a sleepiness and then on a high at the same time, and then just the need to babble. That's it. I figure it out. Okay, so yeah, it's been an hour or close to an hour. I think I'm gonna draw into the close here. But all in all, though, GameStop's gonna do well this year. I have a feeling. So let's check their Twitter account real quick. So they might have some cool stuff that you might not know about, So 11 hours ago, they had some deals going on. Oh, yeah. So apparently this whole month is still fourth quarter, right? Of course. I'm sure, leadership know this, and this is why they're promoting their goods, games and discounts and, consoles and all that stuff. See, up to $90 if you want to, if you don't own it already, you have people who haven't make the purchase, get to experience the quote-unquote discount, right? And then last minute, gift exchange maybe. And then of course we have the plan to move forward. I'm sure this is a kind of a window to leadership is trying to signal, hey, this year is going to be a good year because we're going to be profitable all through, right? Quarters by quarters. And again, even if we make $100 million a year, you guys, like $100 million a year, that's again lowball for GameStop. $100 million a year in 10 years, that's $1 billion, right? That's still like, $1 billion is $1 billion. It's a lot of money, and then we could stash it to the treasury bond and, make interest on the money. I think, Apple is pretty good at that, too. If you look at Apple stock, I know Apple went down because of that downgrade, but I think it's more like a valuation problem than whatever they've been doing. They've been kind of diminishing in revenue for a while, like 4 quarters in a row. It's not that they're consistently beating on those at all. It's just that, because the market expectation and all that stuff, they always want to pump up Apple, to pump up the S&P 500, right? But I wanted to show you the short-term marketable security right here. So the investment, $31 billion in treasury bond, and from that alone they actually make $1 billion in 3 quarters. I think they've been shaving off some from here, but just the interest alone, recently, I think, of course it's not always going to be like that, but $1 billion a quarter just from that. And I'm sure it's due to like the increase in interest rates, recently. And so, yeah, if GameStop could build at least a portion, it doesn't have to be, the $31 billion here. But if it's just a fraction of that, we already have 10% of what Apple have in treasury bond. So at scale, we're actually are kind of along par with that, right? 10% in treasury bond, but look at our market cap compared to Apple, right? So again, like in comparison, actually GameStop is doing better, right? In terms of, because if this is 10%, this should be also 10%, right? Well, it shouldn't be that. It's not that simple, but what I'm trying to say is like, it should be evaluated as such, right? But of course, it's more to do with the profit margin, how much they are able to generate from the gross profit. So since Apple is a technology company, then it's marketing as that, and profit margin is like the beast. I get it. That's the whole reason why people think that this company is so stable and it's willing to give them, money hands over fist in order to just get a penny back. So if you look at the, shareholder equity, let's do that. So if you do shareholder equity, which is $62 billion, $62 billion, right? Divided by the market cap. Wait, is that? $62 billion. What's the market cap? Trillion. I hope I do this right. So that's 2000. No. Okay, yes. So it's only 2%, right? 2% shareholder equity. That's nothing. That's 1/10 of Gamestop equity. Assets versus equity. No. Shareholder equity versus market cap, right? So yeah, GameStop is better in that price point, But again, we have to improve our profit margin. That's the only way that we would be able to. And again, that's just time. That's it. We just need some time. I give Ryan Cohen another 6-7 years. That would bring us to a 10 years mark since he's gonna be in GameStop, right? I think I'm a believer of people who kind of like. Well, there's a saying. That says, and I'll leave you with this one. Sorry, you guys, I'm dragging this on, but I'll leave you with that saying. It's people underestimate what they could do in a year. No, sorry, people overestimate what they could do in a year or two, but underestimate what they could do in 10 years. That is to say that, long term is better than short term prospect or perspective, so to speak. You might think that, you're going to be a millionaire in 2 or 3 years, but then get discouraged when you are not. But what you don't realize is that if you keep going with the same direction, with a little bit more diligent, you might be a billionaire plus some, plus more, even more. Like originally you thought you're going to be a millionaire in 2 years, 3 years, right? But you might be a billionaire in 10 years if you keep doing what you're doing, right? Instead of quitting in the first 3 years or so. So that's just my principle to go by. Alright guys, man, thank you so much for sitting through all that, all 4 of you. Appreciate you, Lionel, appreciate you, Don Man, and also Jay, who's typing in the chat, and whoever is not tapping in the chat, but you're still watching anyway. So appreciate all of you. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully I won't be as low energy today, but no promises. So I'll see you. Okay.